Why did the kid throw the clock out the window?
They said, why'd the Glock? And you're like, oh, okay. Where's this dad joke going? I say that again.
Why did the kid throw the clock out the window? He wanted to see time fly. That was really bad. That was bad.
We'll improve it next week.
Certainly, I could have picked a better one. Dude, I need to get this book that this guy's got. He always DMs me some funny stuff out of it. But there's always a good... Oh, this is a good one, too. Why are fish so smart? Because they live in schools. Joe Rogan's got nothing on my jokes, man.
Nah.
How's it going?
Does he even
Happy
say
Monday.
jokes? Does he even
Well, Monday for you. It's Tuesday for everyone listening, and then whatever day they listen to this. I don't know what day it is. Good morning and happy day to you.
Happy day. Happy day.
Oh, happy. Howdy, neighbor. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited for that movie to come out. What's that new movie Tom Hanks plays? No,
Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers. Is that out yet? I think it's coming out this summer. I don't know. Mr. Rogers. Won't you be my neighbor? I'm excited for that. And Top Gun. I'm excited for Top Gun too. For sure. It's going to be good. Anyways, how's your weekend?
I was just reflecting. I was trying to think.
Tired.
What? Yeah, I'm tired. I am.
You need to put some coffee in that.
I do.
Drinking, hydrate.
Hydrate. It's a water bottle. It keeps me honest.
It's a piece of technology.
It is.
It is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
I have I've gone very millennial, I feel like.
And a bottle that tells me when to drink water.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Emily drinks water just religiously, and I don't. And so it was like, I need something. It's kind of like, you go to the gym and like you either need a workout buddy or like some people are just motivated and they go do it. But like for me at like 6 a.m., like someone has to be there for me to like keep me accountable. Yeah. And I've actually found that bottle keeps me accountable.
So you guys will probably
I thought it was
if you're watching, but like it lights up every so often
if I'm not drinking
to tell you to drink water.
But on the app, you can compete, if you would, for lack of a better word, against family, friends, and everything else. So like I can look on the app and see like, wow, the wife is like got 50 more fluid ounces than me. Exactly. So I got to step on my game. But it's been good. I would say proper hydration does a lot for your health, especially when
I've been slacking on the water intake lately. That was probably the first good big change I made back in July when I started on my little health and fitness journey here. It was like, all right, cut out any of the other sweet drinks and everything else and like just drink water. I try to drink a gallon a day, which is very hard to do.
It's surprisingly.
Like I feel like I could drink a gallon of beer, no problem. Like drinking a gallon of water seems impossible. So anyways, that was like the first big like good thing I did. And I was doing pretty good with it. And I dropped a bunch of weight really fast. And now I've kind of gotten off of drinking as much water as I should be. And I'm like, kind of triggered that thought in my head last week. I was like, wow, I really am not drinking as much water as I should. So I'm trying to,
if I'm not mistaken, I think an easy, just an easy, not 100% accurate, but an easy like gauge on how much water you should drink. You take your weight and divide it in half and do that in fluid ounces.
Yeah.
Just to give you closer to where you actually need to be. And when you start actually realizing how much water you're drinking or not drinking, in my case, and most people you don't I mean, like even this weekend, which is hard with kids, like, you're running around, like that's why I think it's been helpful, at least for me. Cause I'm like, oh man, like, I've only had like 12 ounces of water today and it's 3 p.m. Probably need to step it up. Well, cause I mean, just this time of year, you got the heat on, sucking all the moisture out. Like,
well, not that, but like John was saying, he's like the two fastest ways to burn fat are drink water and sleep. Like the two best things you could do are just drink more water and sleep. I was like,
and being that I can't get more sleep, going with drinking some water. Okay. So, anyways, every day she kills me.
Nice.
We were at a small group last night. Like the water bottle started like lighting up, and everyone's like, "What is happening?"
I think I saw you driving to that.
And I was like, I was like, oh, that means the wife is destroying me.
We have like meetings and like in the conference room, and like this bottle starts lighting up green, and people are like, is that a speaker? Like, what is that? He's like, oh,
Siri's listening.
I need to drink water. Jeez. Anyways.
Yes. There we are.
Word. I did some car stuff this weekend, Did we tell these guys that I bought that car on the podcast? Does the podcast listeners know about the NSX? I don't remember if we said anything about it or not. So back in December, I bought like my dream car, like everyone's childhood dream car. I bought an Acura NSX, and it's super cool. So I've been, and you guys know, maybe you don't know, I come from like an automotive background, and so cars was life for me since I was like 15, maybe even 14. Anywho, I got this car finally. I've wanted it forever, and it needs a little bit of work, so I got a good deal on it. And but I went to a couple of car shows this weekend. That was fun. The first one, I went to one Saturday, and this was such a cool thing. And this is like, I don't know, it's kind of like a community give back situation. It was really neat. So this mother on Facebook, she makes a post, and she's like, hey, my son's turning 7. He doesn't want a birthday party. I have to do something for his birthday, but he's like, I don't want to do anything. I'm like, what? He's like, whatever. Well, he loves cars. He's obsessed with cars. So she was like, well, I'll see if I can find somewhere I can rent a Corvette or something and just drive him around in a cool car for the day. And like, that'll be this birthday party thing since he doesn't want to do anything else. So she puts on Facebook, and she's like, hey, does anybody know where I can rent a cool car? I want to do this for my son for his birthday because he doesn't want to do anything else. And a bunch of people reached out like, hey, I'll take him for a ride. I'll take him for a ride. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll come over and he can check it out and sit in it, whatever. Tons of people comment on this thing, and people are sharing it and tagging people and all stuff. It turns into this huge thing. Doug tags me in it. And he's like, yo, Beav, you should do this. So I look into it, and a few messages back and forth. And she ends up having a car show for this kid because so many people reached out.
Yeah.
And they had, there's probably like, I don't know, 20 cars, 30 cars out there, and then him. It wasn't like a crowd of people walking around. It was like all the car owners, and then this kid and his 2 brothers. And so we all just like gave him rides all day and hung out and stuff. But like this kid was so pumped and jacked up. And there was all kinds of stuff out there. Like I had the NSX out there. Adam was out there with his supercharged Viper, a bunch of Corvettes out there, and like this is like a Hearst and like all kinds of like weird random stuff. But it was really cool. This kid like got a car show for him, for like a private car show for his birthday.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Being 7, you know what I mean? But like, and I talked to a lot of people. I actually ended up shooting a vlog about it that I'm going to start to edit. And I think just because of the story, and I think it's a good thing to do. And it's just like a neat story of the community coming together for this kid. Like nobody knows this kid. He's 7. Yeah, like it's not a big deal. But the car guys understand the impact that cars can make on your life. Because cars for a lot are motivators for people in so many different ways. It could motivate you down a career path. It could motivate you to work harder because you want to be able to buy your dream car that you saw when you were 7. You're like, I have to have, or just, you know what I mean? Like things like that. That's maybe he doesn't want to work on cars. He just likes cars and enjoys them. And it's, the craftsmanship or the art or just the sounds or the speed or the adrenaline, whatever. But cars for many people are motivators in different ways. So I think it's really cool to be able to and I would imagine that day will stick with that kid for life. He'll remember the car show when he was 7. And I hope that
poor mom for the 8th birthday. What are you doing this time? I know, and I told her I want my own air show, Mom. Like
airplanes. Yeah.
Where's my F-16?
That's, you know what? I need a helicopter.
Get a helicopter show for bees.
But to my point though, like it's cool that the community and the car community understands that. So, and that's why so many people are like, yeah, I'll be there for that kid's birthday, and it's like, and I talked to a bunch of people and interviewed some people. I'm like, hey, why'd you come to this thing for a 7-year-old? Like, I remember being that kid. This was the coolest thing in the world. Like it led me down this and that. And like guys out there with Porsches that, they over-indexed and wanted to be successful so they could own a Porsche or whatever. And it's like, it's just cool to be able to be a part of hopefully that kid's future. That day could change the course of that kid's life for better or worse. I don't know, hopefully for the better. But it's just neat. It was really cool. It was fun. So we did that. And then I went to another car show yesterday over at Joe's Barbershop. He had like a Cars and Coffee thing in the afternoon, which Cars and Coffee at 3:00 is the wrong name. It's more like Cars and Beer.
Exactly.
3:00 on a Sunday. He did have donuts and coffee out there though. I drank a couple beers hanging out, but there was a huge turnout. It was awesome. It was fun. It was a good time. And then poor Dave. This pissed me off. Let's go down a pissed off moment for a second. So Dave Miller from the AC company, he's got this Lamborghini Huracan. It's sick. Like way rad. Supercharged, 800 horsepower. It's dope. And he leaves the show with a little bit of a heavy foot, as Dave tends to do. And spins it around, ends up hitting a curb, breaks the wheel off of it, like messes it up pretty good. And we hear it all happen. So this will make sense to you, and everyone listening will be like, what the heck are you talking about? So in that property over there at the post office, that back parking lot behind the barbershop, it's just still all that open property and parking areas right now. That's where everyone's at. Well, he was out on 46. Like you're looking through the Kinghorn building. You couldn't see anything. You know what I mean? But you hear this like, bah, 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 bah. And everyone's like, oh, and then you hear, bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, that sound's not moving. Like, crap, Dave's stuck on a curve somewhere. Like, let's go try to push him off and make sure he's okay. He's not hurt or whatever. But like, I hear the car just, bah, bah, bah. So a bunch of people start running over there, myself included. Of course, everyone else has their phones out because they want to like post about it and make him look like an idiot or something. And I'm like, hey, let's go make sure Dave's okay. Yeah. Back to Dakota's point, right? Like generations these days, like someone gets hurt and they're just trying to get it on video or in a fight or whatever. And it's like, oh, I want to be the first one to post this on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm like, hey, let's make sure the dude's okay. Yeah. Assholes, you know? So I'm like, Dave, you good? And I've known Dave for forever. And it's not the first time he's wrecked a car. The Viper ended up on its roof. This car ended up that. This car hit a tree. Like, it's not his, you know. But at any rate, Dave, are you okay? You're good? He's carrying his wheel out of the middle of 46. And like, it sucks, man. But what pissed me off is like everyone is like literally there taking pictures and videos. And I'm like, hey, put your phones down, man. Like trying to embarrass the guy, you know, like his pride's already hurt, you know? And 5-10 minutes ago, everyone's like up his ass trying to be his best friend because he's got a Lamborghini. And then 5 minutes later when he crashes it, you're the first one to make fun of him. Yeah. Like put your phones down, make sure he's okay. Yeah. Like help the guy out. Call a tow truck, do something. Like in this small community, it's polar opposites. Day one, Saturday, the community comes together. Let's have a party for this kid. Let's show him what the culture's all about. Like automotive, the community is such a family sport, family event. That's why we're involved with the racing with the Jeeps. Like it's fun family stuff. Like you could be any age and have fun with cars. Like there's old dudes out there, there's kids out there. You're in Power Wheels. Like it's fun. It's a family event. I'm super into it. But then on Sunday, it's like a bunch of D-bags trying to like, it just pissed me off the way they treated each other. But it's such a small community here in Bluffton, in town, and it's not a big city, but like, I feel like everyone should be on the same team instead of like trying to throw each other under the bus and all this crap. It just made me so mad. And then by the time I got home, I had a couple more drinks with dinner and I had a few beers and I started talking shit on Facebook. So for real, because these guys, one person, couple people in particular, posting about it, saying really asshole remarks, posting pictures of it. And I'm like, hey, I'm really disappointed in the way you guys are treating a local fellow car guy and a local business owner that refers a lot of business to people because of the amount of people he talks to and the kind of cars he drives. And here you guys are like, especially the people who are local automotive business owners talking trash about a car guy. Like, are you an idiot? Like, it just pisses me off. Everyone should be on the same page and trying to help everyone. Hey, man, let me know if you need it. I've got a shop. Let me know if you need anything. I'm happy to help or something. Like, don't bash a guy like, yo, used Lambo for sale. You know, nothing wrong with it or whatever. Like, clean title, you know, stuff like just being assholes, you know. I don't know. It just made me mad. I was heated about it because I hate assholes, basically. That's what it comes down to. I just feel like everyone should be trying to help each other out. And they're a bunch of punks. And that's
they're just voicing their insecurities.
All right, podcast is over. Thanks for listening. I'm just kidding.
The beef rant. I mean, it just comes out of insecurity. Well, I mean, you take that even just with anything, cars or parenting. It's like you try to push your agenda or insecurities onto your kids or onto some other kid who's doing a good job. And you want to tear this like 10-year-old down because they beat your kid up in like soccer. It's like. Right. Well, the kid's better. Like your kid sucks. What do you like? You know, like let's why don't you work with your kid and see if he can train more instead of just being like, well, that other kid is I don't know, just talking crap about some other kid. It's like,
and in the argument, I got in with this dude. I was like, hey, that was a real asshole way to you know, and this is like on the Bluffton bad drivers page that this one dude's posted. And a bunch of people are talking. So he's like, oh, swinging my nuts, my nuts. The wrong way. I don't know. People were just making asshole comments. Yeah. Well, the guy that posted it, I made a remark directly to him, and then he comes back with, he's like, I admire that you're trying to stick up for your friend, but how do you want me to post something on the bad drivers page and attract the cops to this, that, and the other, and for the next event they're there, blah blah blah. I'm like, you're missing the point, dude. Yeah. It's not about how you post it. It's that you even posted it at all. Like,
He posted it to get the engagement. Just like.
But this dude, he just wanted to stir the pot. He's like,
of course,
he's the first one to post anything on that page all day, and he's the. Anyway, so I'm gonna move on. It just makes me mad. Anyways, how was your weekend?
I don't do social media, so I let everyone rant and rave and live in their own little worlds. And if they're happy in their own little worlds, kumbaya. If they're not, then I'll pray for them. I'll you know, some people just need a little God in their life because they're just, you know, got their own little problems and they're trying to just vent and put their anger out in the world because they're angry about themselves. So
that's a fact.
You know,
they have their own issues.
That's how I handle it. Yeah. That's how I handle that.
Yep.
But let's think about this. Had the first night last night where no kid got up in the middle of the night.
Bottle's lighting up. Some drink water.
Dang it!
All right.
I'm like 20 ounces behind, fluid ounces behind. So
just chug that thing. You know what I would do? I'd go to the sink and just start dumping it out. So it looks like
fill it up, water. Dump it out. Yeah, so that was exciting to not have to like carry a kid back.
It's lighting up. You should drink some more.
All right, I'm going to change out my water bottle for the next podcast. So that was exciting. Though the kid that never has accidents had one like at 6 a.m. when he woke up. So, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, sounds like you just got a mellow weekend for you.
Yeah, we didn't do anything crazy. Had a little family
block
time.
Party.
Yeah, we had our neighbors had an oyster roast, which is always fun. It's kind of the first introduction of kind of low country oyster roast for the kids. They had a good time, so that was good. You know,
did they eat any oysters?
They tried. They didn't.
My kids are obsessed.
They didn't go for it, and they're not old enough where they can do it for daddy. Yeah. So it's like, if you don't like them, at least you could open them for me, and that they couldn't do that yet. So, but no, they had fun. They had a good time. Not really digging mosquitoes in February. I'm like, we go from like 36 degrees to 70 degrees to mosquitoes to pollen. So I figured we had a few more months before that would kick in, but nevertheless, they're here. Mm-hmm. It's been raining like crazy. So
I know we had to have like a clear weekend of no rain, but now it's raining again.
Yeah. Today. So that was fun. You know, just it's always fun to like. I mean, it's always like, having neighbors that will just kind of just if you need them, they'll be there, and the way it should be, you know. And so it's always fun, enjoyable to spend some time with them. I don't get out much with
you don't
the
leave
children, in a social setting. So that was fun because everyone's like, "Oh, I'm glad you guys made it." You know, like, did you need directions? And I'm like, "Oh, you're funny." I walked out in my backyard, but yes, I deserve it. So you know, not going to get mad. But just relax. Had some good family time on Sunday, and nothing too crazy special. Just trying to deal with my kids that
Is everyone over all the sicknesses and stuff.
Presently, yes.
I saw Stan out in the street yesterday. He said they're all sick.
Yeah. They were like, "Oh, what are y'all doing?" I'm like, "Nothing with you." I'm like, stay away. Grown man with 102 fever. Don't be outside near me. Come on.
Yep. I was power washing my mailbox.
I was like, you might test negative for the flu, but there's no good reason why a grown man should have 102 fever and be out in public.
Yeah.
So, I feel bad for him, though, because that always sucks. I hate being sick. Terrible. But thankfully, we're not, knock on wood. Good. We're just trying to deal with the kids that listen and are perfect angels one day, and then the next day, not perfect angels.
Speaking of being sick and like things and having accidents, Cameron, my oldest, and I'm gonna have to stop telling stories about Cameron because she's getting to an age where she doesn't want me talking about her on the internet. And I think we've talked about that in previous podcasts, but this is funny though. She comes to me, she's in the bathroom, and then she calls Brandy in there. She's like, "Mommy, I need your help." I'm like, well, it's kind of weird. Cameron's usually pretty good in the bathroom by herself at this age. So then Brandy goes in there. She's like, "Oh my God." And she like walks out and closes the door. She's like, "You're dealing with that." So then Cameron comes out of the bathroom, She's like, Daddy, the toilet won't flush. I'm like, dang, girl. So I walk in there with her, and she's like, that's a huge stack of poop. I'm like, yes, it is. What did you eat? You know? So then I'm like plunging this toilet. Oh my gosh, it was funny. It's hilarious. That's a big stack of poop, Dad. Like, I'm aware. I see that.
You, Captain Obvious. Yeah. I imagine she's gonna probably want you to refrain from telling those stories in the coming years.
That's just funny. It's not terribly embarrassing. There's stuff though, and I'll mention it again for people who might be listening for the first time. But like, there's been times, you know, I share a lot about myself on social media and, you know, on the Tactical Baby Gear Instagram stories, in particular, like things from home. And I try to shed light on the fact that it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, there's shitty times and there's screaming kids and all this stuff. And, you know, from time to time, I'll try to capture it on video to just be like, yep, I'm dealing with it too. You guys aren't alone. Mm-hmm. And I shot a picture or a quick video clip or something not that long ago because Cameron was losing her mind and in tears and upset about something just ridiculous for no reason. And I took that photo or video or whatever, and she looked at me with tears in her eyes, upset, saying, you better not put that on the internet. And I was like, okay, that's it, done. I'm not putting that kind of stuff about her, you know, like stuff like that. That's like almost, I don't want to say shaming, because I'm trying to just shed light on the, like, we're here to shine light in the shadows of like the areas of parenting that no one really talks about. So, you know, I wanted to share those moments, but when she's able to voice her opinion to say something like that, I'm like, all right, I don't want it to affect you psychologically of like things like that. So I refrain from that kind of stuff typically, unless it's like a funny story, like a pile of poop in the toilet. It might be slightly embarrassing, but it's not like, it's funny.
Everyone does it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Hot chicks don't poop.
Somebody
I went to college with, that was like his number one thing. He was like, no. That chick, she doesn't poop. I'm like, oh my God. Sean McDermott. I love you, dude. I hope you listen to this one day. Hot chicks don't poop. Like that was his.
I feel like that needs to be a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Needs to be a t-shirt.
Oh man.
It's like mom and dad's. Moms don't poop. It's like, but yeah, like, so it's kind of funny. My, you know, growing up, like, you know, kind of like, since we're on that topic, right? It seems very natural, just especially as you start to have kids, right? It's like, oh man, like, did you clean his poop? Like, oh, he pooped everywhere. Like, are they pooping? You know, like, come wipe my hiney. Does it smell like? Is that poop on me? You know, like you're constantly talking about poop. And for people that maybe didn't grow up, maybe they were like an only child, or, you know, like didn't have a lot of siblings, or was in a house where like that was just kind of like very taboo to not talk about. My house, it wasn't. So it's interesting. My brother-in-law, like their family just never talked about it. And obviously my sister was in a family where, I mean, I made fun of her, you know what I mean? As a kid, like we went the first time we went to Europe. It was like you started to realize, like they were like, why is there a small button and a big button
on the toilet?
You know, and trying to conserve water, small button for number one, the big button for number two. So like the entire trip,
so funny.
She was like 12. The entire trip, every time she'd come out the bathroom, be like, "Man, pushing the big button," and like she would be like, "Stop!" You know, getting all upset because like, you know she's the younger sister, and we're making fun of her because that's what you do. But so like literally to this day, like I could still make the joke. I could text
we were
her right
making the
now,
joke in LA
and I was like,
when we were
I was like, "Oh, you pushing the big button?"
Like, oh, you guys told me that story.
She's like shaking her head, but. So come to find out though, like, you know, the brother-in-law, like their family never talked about it. So they were just in town, and like every other table conversation somehow started talking about poop, and like Cassie's just kind of smiling, and I was like, oh, that's right.
I could see that she laughs about it.
He's just like looking at me. I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. Like this, he's like, I mean, I'm starting to understand it now. I'm like, yes, like I know we're eating, but just literally, like, let me tell you what my kid did today. And it usually involves poop. It's like house cleaning. Like we were loading up the kids to go to school this morning, and I was like, man, what? oh man, come on. I'm like, dude, I'm like, Andrews, let me take you and wipe your hiney and do everything else. And then you're like, you got to wipe it and you like get a hand in it. And you're like, okay, like 6 more wipes now. And then they're like, pick me up. I'm like, but I got crap. I go wash my hands. Like, yep, poop. It's just something that
it's a way of life.
Did not know the podcast was going to go down. We need a fun title like, who does number 2 work for? Because apparently that's all we're talking about today. But
it's a shitty episode.
No, like, well, I didn't like think about it when I was having kids. But like when you're potty training, you know what I mean? Like they don't know how to wipe, nor do I really want them trying at this stage in life.
They'll make
trying to wipe. So it's more like they'll come out like if they would try, they would just probably be using their hands and trying to like use it, like wipe it on a towel or something. You know what I mean? So you're like, I'll wipe, but you don't really realize like I did not know. Like I had this moment once where I was like, I just bend over. Okay, let's think about this.
This is where we're at.
This is where I'm at in life. I've got a 3.5-year-old bending over the toilet, spread eagle, and I'm having to wipe his hiney.
Wiping butts.
Like, I mean, I don't know why it's different when they're on the changing table with diapers, and you're like, oh, like it's a baby. And you're like, you're practically an adult, and I'm like wiping your hiney. Yeah.
Oh man.
And
I was talking to, where was I? I was with a kid. Oh. Adam Love at this car show birthday party thing, and his daughter was like dying to be picked up, and she's pretty young. I don't know how old she is now, but she's 3, 4, probably 4. Anyways, I was like, man, Cameron still tries to get me to pick her up sometimes. That kid's almost 9. I'm like, no, I've seen you do gymnastics. Your legs working. Like, you can stand on your own 2 feet. Mm-hmm. I'm not picking you up anymore. You're like 100 pounds now. God.
And you can wipe yourself.
yeah, right. Even Kendall, she's getting heavy. I mean, she's 6 now. Like, very rarely do I pick her up for any, unless she's like hurt.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not just picking her up and carrying her around. I pick her up to carry her from the couch to her bed if she's asleep or something. Yeah. And like, if she gets hurt, but otherwise, like, you're too big for this.
See, we started a thing where like I would hold the twins and for bedtime routine and kind of like sing with them, and like we started this thing where we'd go down like the names of all like the family members, just especially at a very young age, just to kind of like, good night, Uncle Nick, good night, like kind of repetition, right? And so then we would, do a little like singing, and like we still do that. And I'm like, you're getting so heavy. And like the routine went from like 1 song to we got like a repertoire of like 5. And I'm like, all right, I didn't know I was going to do like a standing hold here with like 80 pounds for like 7 minutes as we do nighty night, So yeah, we're starting to get that where we're like, all right, let's try this. You're in the big boy beds now. Why don't you lay in bed and I'll walk back and forth saying night because daddy's back hurts. But I'm having to institute that with the youngest one now. It's like, all right, just hold my hand. Hold my hand. Like, let's walk in a line, stay on the sidewalk. But y'all get into that age where like I got to start.
Like little trail of little ducklings behind you.
Pretty much.
You know what's frustrating about that? And I deal with this. This is like my like thing that I have in parking lots, walking through parking lots with my kids, because they want to be like on the sides of me, and then one of them's like halfway, and I'm like, no. So what I do is like I make them hold hands, and then I stand more towards the inside of the parking lot. I don't really want them behind me, out of my sight. So I'm either trying to get them like in front of me in line where I can see both of them in front of me, and I can like
kind of grab them,
wrangle them in.
Yeah.
But like they always want to be like in the middle of the parking lot aisle. I'm like, no. I want to be the first. I want to be the first one to get hit here.
Yeah,
even when we cross the street, if cars are coming from one direction or the other, I'll make sure I'm standing on that side of them and like crossing to like shielding them from any potential danger. Like that's just a thing that I just do. I don't really. I just do
like I've always done. I do that even with the wife.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
it
was just kind of ingrained, I guess, at some age.
Yeah, it's just like this protective mentality.
Yeah. But I don't know. Parking lots do freak me out though.
Mainly
terrifying. Because like you're sitting there and you're like, we're in Target, mother. Like there's no reason you need to be going 25 miles an hour to find your effing parking spot. Like slow your roll, dog. Thankfully, it's like, you're lucky I don't have just a fucking
I yelled at a lady
shotgun on me because I'm going to blow out your damn tires.
I yelled at a lady in a parking lot. I don't remember where it was, but she started backing out right. Like Kendall and I are walking through this parking lot and she is like backing it into us. I was like, hey, and she like slams on the brake and she's like, at me?
Well, yeah, like
I'm like,
you want to pay for my kids' college? Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, jeez.
But
there's
I mean,
like Mercedes Benz too that has all the sensors and cameras and all this stuff. I'm like,
well, that don't mean anything.
Like, how did you pull this off? Like that thing wasn't beeping at you and yelling at you and doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's because of the front, the front bush.
Yeah,
it was beeping at the front bush, not because there was humans behind me. Now I don't understand, like. And it wasn't even with kids that I started getting to like be like 90-year-old crotchety man, in the parking lot. But it was my parents were clearing an intersection. I don't know, a decade ago now. Clearing the intersection, red light, went to clear, and someone goes plowing through and just T-bones my parents, rolls the car, breaks my mom's neck, and it was just like, where the F are you going that, like, when it's red, they can then come and clear intersection, be all the way to, like, the far lane, and then get T-boned where you're, like, you blind texting? Like, what were you not doing? But I say that just in the statement of where are you going that is that damn important that you'll just blare through a red light? So ever since then, even just in parking lots or even in, like, a neighborhood, you're like,
I just assume no one's paying attention.
It's going to take me 10 more seconds to get to my house from where I started if I do like the 12 miles an hour as opposed to the 20 miles an hour because you're going 1,000 yards here. Like, all you need is to be doing 20 instead of the 12, and some little kid runs after a soccer ball and boom, donezo. It's just but like people do that in the parking lot. I'm like, wait. You think you're going to get your Starbucks latte faster than me getting my coffee, jabroni? Like, well, calm down. We're all going, I'll hold the door for you. You can walk in. But don't freaking kill me on the way to get your freaking Starbucks, you jackass. Like, I ain't got time for that. It just blows my mind, people's level of, like, devaluing their own life, let alone someone else's.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what it is. You're like, I'm more important than anyone else in this damn world parking lot, so I'm just going to blare through it like a complete ignorant ass. We're gonna have to put the cursing
the disclaimer at the front.
Yeah, you started getting all hot and bothered in the beginning, and then you start talking about people and their driving, and it's just. But I mean, like, what are you gonna do in that 30 seconds that you made up going 0 to 60 and then slamming on the damn brakes to wait for some grandma to pass, and then throw your hands up and be all an asshole about it? It's like. She's 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old. Doesn't matter. Like, maybe they got a hurt knee just because you're like, look like you're 20. Like, I'm hobbling because I broke my leg. Like, calm down. Let me cross the damn street. I ain't got time for that.
We're hot and bothered about some driving this week, man.
But it's just true. Like you
said, everyone feels like they're more important and that they need to have the right of way, and they're in a hurry to be somewhere, and it puts people in danger. Yeah, and that's why I'm terrified when my kids are walking through parking lots or things like that, because I just assume no one's paying attention and I don't trust anybody.
They're backing up and they're trying to text and then change their, Pandora, iTunes music station or whatever shit, and it's like, why don't you just worry about backing up? Well, like, let's start there. Yeah. You're 16 driving a damn Suburban that's a damn bus. Don't deserve to be in that car regardless. And gonna endanger lives thinking that your next tweet or TikTok as you back up to some stupid ass music.
Let's talk about TikTok.
Let's not talk about it, man. That shit hurts my head.
I want to throw my phone against the wall when I see that nonsense.
I was with adults that were like, "Oh, they just did my first TikTok," and I was like, "I don't think I can ever talk to you again."
Gary.
Granted, we said that about Facebook, but sure.
Until it matures, like, I don't want any part of it.
I think everyone's all hot and bothered about it because it's the only platform. I say only. I feel like it's the only platform that you can be a nobody, get your adrenaline rush because you could randomly get 1 million views, but that doesn't mean anything about anything to anyone. but yet you feel real
good. Your
real good about yourself because you got all these views. But 15 years from now, when you're trying to do an interview and they play that video for you, you're going to feel like an idiot. Like, that's what I can't wait for. It's like, oh, let's come into the job interview. Let's talk. And you're like, oh, you want to watch all the dumb shit you've done your entire life on camera? If I beat my head against this wall to the sound of Beat It, 1 million people will watch, but I'm just a moron.
There's no value in the views. And the part of the problem with the number of views, it's like the same 9-year-old girl watching the same video like 150 times.
Yep.
Who cares?
Well,
there's a market.
One person doesn't.
There's a market for it if you're marketing to a younger demographic, and you're like slime, for example. If there was somebody on there making slime videos and selling slime kits and they could direct it, and now little girl is getting mom to buy the slime because they saw it on TikTok, that makes sense. I understand that. But most of what's happening there is just obnoxious.
It's like I often, I genuinely often think, like, if I was an alien, like telescope to the Earth, and it was like,
here we go.
What in the world are these dumbass people doing? Like, you got, like, you got like no problems when you can sit there and make stupid ass videos to music of like just doing the dumbest shit possible, and then you want to complain about your fucking life. Like, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Is it not? I mean,
I agree.
So like the aliens watching me like, oh, look at these earthlings. Like, come on, like.
The aliens, this is my favorite part.
Let's get
Elon Musk on here.
But like, I mean, think about it. Like, if you just take a step back, if you take a step back and watch someone actually making that piece of content, you're like, boy, you dumb. Like, there's no other way. From the lens of like, you're watching the person do whatever stupid thing they're doing, and then you're just watching. It's not like you're like acting and it's a comedy sketch. You're like, oh, that idiot literally ran in the wall to get views. Let's break this down. Consciously walks into said wall to get views, and not like the comedy guy on stage who like slams a watermelon with shit going everywhere for the laughs. It's like you walked into a wall, and then you wonder why I don't want to pay for your college education. Like, you don't fucking deserve it. Jeez.
It's, you know what though? To that point,
can you beep some of these out? Seriously, like, we might need like just kind of like turn volume a little lower on that. Like, I would hate for someone to have their kids in the car and all of a sudden me ranting about stupid people just they don't. So
to that point though, to go on the other side of what you're talking about, because I do so much on social media and you don't. Your point super valid, right? The other side of that being though, if somebody can create those videos, it's seemingly really ridiculous, stupid things, but then they start to gain an audience from it. And now they have the attention and the eyeballs and the audience, people who opt in to follow this person, like beyond just the number of views, because you can have a follower and 1 million views. The 1 million views don't really mean much, but it's when the people opt in to follow you to see the next piece of content, you gain this massive following in the audience, and the attention, the eyeballs. Then you have leverage, and then you can capitalize on it.
I truly get the business side of it from that, but like, again, unless you're like looking for sponsorship from someone selling helmets, like, why are you walking into the wall?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
I mean, obviously, I'm
it's the same way ManSpot built an audience. He's like, why the hell is this guy yelling at the camera? Not today, ISIS. I
mean, again, but it's so fair enough to the point of like entertainment for entertainment's sake. Sure, I guess. I mean, for me, a struggle would be like,
check this out, Jackass. Those guys were just doing dumb shit to hurt themselves.
Yeah,
and they got a lot of attention for it.
They did, and I never agreed with it.
And they had a lot of leverage for a long time. And they were maybe they hit their head a few too many times.
But like for me, like I just never got behind watching that because I couldn't be like, in what world is someone dropping a deuce and you throw fireworks into the toilet?
Oh, we've done it.
And
it's funny.
Yeah, you do that to me, I'm stabbing you in the face with a knife. Like, I'll just, on camera, I will tell you that. I had a rule in college. Like, people would walk around and hit people in the nuts. And it was like, you hit me once, I'm coming at you with a baseball bat. Like, that's just, like, you just don't do it. It was a warning, literally. You might think it's funny for the 4 seconds I'm on the ground, but 10 weeks later, when you're not looking and you get a baseball bat to your nuts, you ain't going to be laughing. But I already warned you. Like, it just, I don't know. That's sort of just like, all right, I'm going to stand there naked and have you shoot a paintball at my nuts is just the dumbest thing. And like, I just can't watch it for the entertainment value because like Darwin didn't do his job. Like, fucking, it's ridiculous.
Oh my God, I'm so glad it's all recorded. This is like the stuff that,
tell me I'm not wrong. Yes, you can be a millionaire, but you can also be an idiot. Like, encouraging that. I mean, you start going into like Tide Pod challenges and stuff. And you're like, and you'll wonder why kids are offing themselves doing like, like there's no reason that Tide has to come out here and be like, hey, guess what? Like we say on the warning label, you shouldn't eat it. And everyone's like, how dare they make things that look like candy? You're like, how dare you not be a parent and actually educate your kid not to be an idiot?
Alex's heated and angry is so good.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not.
I'd love for someone to put in the comments of like,
a lot of stupid.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, like a 1-year-old getting into the box. We need to. You got to make it harder to get into the box. No problems there. Like, I think that should be a burden on a corporation to make their packaging less safe. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily the parent who has to put it up on the shelf like you should. Well, like sometimes it's just on the shelf. It's just like medicine. Like, let's put the tops on there. Like, that should be the burden of a corporation to make their packaging safe in that regards. But if you're going to tell me your 14-year-old kid who can almost drive, like we're going to sue some corporation because they wanted to eat it, I'm calling BS. Calling BS. And then 4 years later, you're going to be able to vote.
Yeah,
so
there's a problem with some people in the world for sure.
I don't know. That's my view on TikTok.
Who was it? Ron White. You can't fix stupid. Was that his thing? So funny. Well, he had another funny tagline. Remember, he was telling the story about the wheel falling off in Savannah. Oh yeah, here's your sign.
Yeah, that's the other guy though, right? Not Ron White. Yeah, it was the other guy. Oh, I forget his name.
He's like, the wheel falls the fuck off. It fell off. You know, you can't fix. It was so funny. He's at the Sears in Savannah. So funny, hilarious. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well,
that's my rant.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll bleep some of those out for y'all.
Super interesting episode. Like,
I just struggle with who should be responsible on that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just in the sense of like, that's what we're encouraging. Like, I'm all about making content for entertainment and everything else. We do it. Like, I mean, I'm not bashing it, but I can't get behind people just doing stupid stuff for stupid stuff's sake. And then they wonder why they got hurt.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, there's a lot of people that do that, you know, interesting things like that, like for the sake of adrenaline or for whatever. You know, you got look at guys like Evel Knievel. You're like, why would you jump your motorcycle over this stuff? Like, you realize you're going to break every bone in your body. You know, it's like, you know that going in there. So
I'm open-minded to hearing obviously different perspectives too, because you like, as I relate to that, I'm like, that is a grown man who is an actual professional, and like, there's a ton of training that's going into before he's not just he's not just some jabroni on the side of the street who got a dirt bike for he's 16. He's like, I'm going to jump cars today to make a TikTok video. It's like, there's like significant training going into that. Sure. Now, whether or not, I mean, definitely not for me.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? But like to that end, you're like, I mean, even just those look at NASCAR, like they are just hauling tail around a track at 200 plus miles an hour. They're very skilled.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the kids driving down the highway doing 200 miles an hour because they have a car that they shouldn't be in. And then you wonder why they wrap it around a tree. They're not a professional, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's always different lenses to look through and different perspectives of the way you look at certain things. And I feel like you could almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Justify either one of them to a point, you know, it's like, well, he was doing it for this reason or whatever. But anyways, that's nonetheless, but I digress from all that. We could go in. It's just interesting to like sit and think about the different ways you could look at it or why or whatever. But, and I'm sure people listening are like saying we're idiots because we feel a certain way or they feel this way about it. And we feel, you know, and whatever. Right.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the beautiful thing about this country.
Yeah, it's my podcast.
You are
say what I want.
That and two, you're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, get your
Why don't you just be respectful about someone else's opinion?
Yeah. Well,
learn to listen.
That's what Dave was saying about the Lambo when they were trying to roast him on Facebook. He's like, yeah, I'm the dumbass with the Lambo. He's like, and when you can buy one, you can drive it the way you want.
Exactly. Like, you know, I mean.
It's not like I said, it's not his first time crashing an exotic car and people giving him a hard time about it. That's pretty much the life he lives.
But at the same token, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bash me because you can't afford one.
That's right. Cool. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this ridiculous episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave comments, ratings, reviews, and all the things. We would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.